Before I start this video, make sure I want you to go to my boy Brizzly's Discord. He's the one who gave up the idea for the what if Deku was trained by Undertale cast and made a script for it, and he's a pretty cool dude. So if you want, please go join his Discord down below. Link in the description down below. Okay, now cue that intro, baby. Yeehaw! Yeehaw, soldiers, it's your boy Anime Stage coming to another video, and this is What If Deku Had Gambit's Powers, I believe it's part 3. Yeah, it is. Man, this what if has been actually one of my more popular what ifs as well. Is besides the Kakashi what if, this is again this is about another what if that you guys really like in terms of my academia stuff, and I'm really happy about that. So how do we begin? How do I begin this? Well, first off, well, after the poll you guys voted in on who should Deku be shipped with, I am going with Momo because a lot of you guys really wanted Deku to be shipped with Momo, and I did see the potential in that as well, because if they had a kid, they could have like this quirk called energy creation, which would be pretty interesting. As I saw in one of the comments down below, I forget who said it, but thank you for that suggestion. And it'd be pretty interesting if I ever tried to make a more sequel series, or if the show decided. I think I could, and maybe I could probably do a better job at making a sequel series of My Academia than the anime writer support so right now. But you know what I'm saying. But let's just get right into this video. Yeah, so first off, the first part of this, in the last part we were going over the training of Bakugo and Deku, Deku being a certain red-haired boy. But if you want to find out, go to watch part 2 down in the description down below, and let's get right into the what if. So 2 days have passed. Deku's coming back from training, and he's walking around the city. He wants to he probably wants to at this point maybe grab a couple stuff or maybe go shopping. And I think him and Bakugo would have designated a couple days of rest after the so it's like 1 or 2 days before, so essentially 1 or 2 days before the exam, and they're probably at this point trying to relax, having downtime, relax their muscles, because too much training can be really bad for you. You know what I'm saying? But and then Deku bumps into somebody, and then Deku is like, ah man, that hurt, and then he hears a girl's voice and who's literally saying the same thing. And Deku opens his eyes and he sees a black-haired girl with a very interesting rack, if I'm to say so, pretty religiously. Deku realizes that the girl that he's looking at looks kind of cute. She has black hair. And I'm not gonna describe the rest. I'm worried about. I don't want to be demonetized. Actually, I don't even get monetization, so maybe I should. But actually no. But and the girl introduces herself and says, "I'm so sorry." And then Deku says, "Oh, no worries. I was just happening by. It was kind of my fault." And then Momo's just and then the black-haired girl, I'm sorry if I gave it away. And then the black-haired girl says, and then because she realizes that the boy she's looking at is very cute, and then Deku says, yeah, so what's your name, by the way? And then the black-haired girl says, "My name's Momo Yarirozu." And then Deku says, "My name's Izuku Midoriya. Nice to meet you. So you're a little bit of a pretty girl." Then Momo just blushes and says, "Yeah, sure. You're kind of she's like doesn't know what to do with herself." And Deku just finishes off with, "I guess cute." And then Momo's just like, maybe. And so Momo's just trying to like snap herself out of it, and like, what are you doing? Well, I was walking around. I'm preparing for a written and practical exam in a couple days for my high school journey, because essentially it is kind of high school. And then Momo says, "Oh, for which school?" And Deku says, UA. And then Momo says, oh, I'm going there too. And then Deku says, really? And then Momo says, yes. And then Deku says, oh, really? Have you prepared for the practical exam? For the practical or written exam yet? And then Momo says, I got here via recommendation. And then Deku's like, wow, you must have a pretty strong quirk. And then Momo says, well, yeah, the quirk I have is called creation. And then Deku says, wow, interesting. And then what does it do? So Momo explains her quirk, how she knows the chemical compound and up of what she wants to make, she can make it. And Deku says, wow, that's a pretty powerful quirk. And then Momo blushes and says, thank you. And then Deku says, yeah, I have a quirk called molecular accelerate that literally and molecular acceleration. And then Momo says, what is that? So what essentially is, and he explains is well, essentially Gambit powers, but their Deku powers as a quirk. And then Momo says, wow, that's a pretty powerful quirk. Yeah, I could show you what it can do. But let's just go into more open area, remembering the flashbang he did with Kirishima. And then Momo says, okay, as Momo really wants to spend time with this guy, and yeah, it's a pretty interesting experience. Deku would they go to into a more open area, as a Momo with this boy that she just met, who looks pretty cute, who looks really handsome in her opinion, and Deku shows off his quirk. He throws it up in the air, and then boom. It explodes. It essentially explodes. And then Momo says, "That's a powerful quirk." And Deku, that quirk is amazing. You could be a very powerful hero one day. And then Deku says, "I am to be one of the number one hero one day." And then Momo says, "I think you could do it." And then Deku says, "Really?" "Yes." And then like a couple minutes, like a minute of like silence as they like, yeah, yeah. And then Deku says, hey, so I know I kind of just met you, but do you think we could exchange contact info? And then Momo says, yeah, sure. And then Deku literally says, okay, great. And then Momo is like, squealing to herself because she just got the hot boy's number essentially, and yeah, Deku is pretty impressive himself right now. So in this one, if you know Gambit a little bit well, Gambit is a ladies man. Deku is a ladies man here as well. Deku's probably been on a couple dates before, but I'm gonna say he's never really fully gone into a full relationship with anybody yet. But he's very experienced with the ladies, and he knows how to treat the ladies, and he's kind of popular among the girls in middle school. But Momo is a pretty cute girl, and I think Deku would really like to go on a date with her, maybe even continue a relationship like he hasn't done with other girls at this point. Yeah, and so Deku says, well, I'm also kind of sorry if I held you off of anything that I did. And then Mom was like, oh no, it's fine, it's really fine. And then I can't wait to see you at UA because I have a feeling that you might pass. And then Deku's like, thanks. And then Mom was like, you're welcome. And then Deku's pretty happy with himself at the moment because he just nabbed it's not a full relationship yet, but he really likes this girl so far. She has a pretty decent personality. She's really cute, and well, those attributes, if you know what I mean, are pretty nice, right? But let's just get right into. And then Deku eventually comes home, and then Inko, Prime Inko, if you know what I'm saying, says, oh, so hey, so why are you out so late? And why are you so late home? And Deku says, I think I met a girl. And then Inko's like, really? Do you think you might be able to get a full relationship with this one? And with this one, because you haven't really had a full-fledged girlfriend before. And then Deku's like, I think I might. I really like her. And but I wanted to get to know her more. And then Inko's like, good strategy. And yeah. And Inko says, well, you got a couple, like 1 or 2 days before the actual UA exam. I know you'll pass, my son. And and Deku's like, thanks, Mom. And yeah, let's move on to the actual practical exam. So let's just get into a couple of interactions. Bakugo and Deku, they are walking together, and Bakugo just like boasts, I'm gonna get the highest score here, not you. And then since they literally just, and then Deku literally goes into a flashback on how they just happen to cross paths, and then they decide to like walk together. And now Deku's like regretting having to listen to this dude boast. Deku is like, yeah, whatever. And then Bakugo says, listen to me while look at me while I'm talking to you. I'm gonna outdo you in this practical exam, and I'm gonna show you I'm better than you. I'm gonna show you what my training's done for me, and then what that training has done for me. And Deku says, I know how much the training's done for you. You've gotten pretty strong. And then, but so have I. And then Bakugo says like, whatever. And then Bakugo just like separates on his merry way. And then Deku sees a certain girl. Yeah, it's Ochako, and says, "Hey, she's pretty cute. Although I'm more interested in Momo at the moment. Oh well." And then Deku literally heads into the UA exam. In the written exam, he'd do pretty well. I think he would get like, let's just say 85% plus. Because he's studied a little bit, because he studied a lot, both him and Bakugo, and I think they would do pretty well here. And Deku's kind of smart. He's pretty smart. But yeah, let's just get into the more finer details. I don't think you would really want to have that first interaction with Ida, so, you know, whatever. But actually, here's an interesting interaction. He meets, Deku accidentally bumps into Ida. Ida's like, hello. Ida's like, who bumped into me? And Deku says, oh, I'm so sorry. And then Ida introduces him, and then Deku introduces himself, and then Ida is like, nice to meet you. And then they just have a little bit of conversation back and forth, and like they're both on their merry way. And probably more so about a little about themselves and their quirks and stuff like that. It's just like, and Ida would probably be impressed by his quirk and would actually look up to Deku a little bit, and he probably would like to see what he can do. And then the actual practical exam begins. Deku at this point is not going to do as bad, is not going to do nearly as bad as he did in the original. In fact, he's going to probably exceed expectations. So I think at the end of the day, him and Bakugo would get around, he got 70, I think he got like 77 in the original. I think Deku would top with like 85, to Bakugo at like 82, if you know what I'm saying, in terms of villain points. And Deku would but in this one, I think when a 0 pointer appears, Deku would literally just like destroy it and would probably meet up to the challenge, would probably be like, man, can I face this? And then he sees Ochako on the ground, and then Deku says, man, I gotta save her. And then and he does, because he doesn't want to see, because he's interested in Momo at this point, and I guarantee the ship will happen, but he doesn't want to see a girl hurt. Like, he doesn't want to see a girl hurt. You know what I'm saying? But and so Deku literally destroys a robot with ease, slices it. He puts molecular energy into his bow staff, and then Deku uses a technique that he's been creating for years. He's been trying to create over the past 10 months, and now has perfected over the next 10 months. And Deku unleashes molecular bow slash. If you like that name, let me know. If you don't like it, or how about this? Molecular ultimate slash. And then Deku just slashes the robot in two, and it's destroyed. Deku lifts the rubble off of Uraraka, and yeah, I'm gonna go with molecular ultimate slash. If you don't like the name, that's fine. If you can find a better name for me, please do. But with the bow staff, it becomes like a sword essentially, and Deku puts in a lot of molecular energy into it, and yeah, Deku lifts the rubble off, but then Deku starts to feel some of the effects. He's a lot more winded, because that technique takes a little bit out of him, but he can walk at this point, and Uraraka says thank you, and then Deku says no problem, and then just like heads off to finish. And Deku says, you gotta hurry up. And then Uraraka says, oh, okay. And then Deku says, alright, I'm about to head to work, see ya. And then Uraraka's like, who is he? And then yeah. I think there could be some interesting I could make a little bit of a slight tension between Uraraka and Momo, but you know, because I think that'd be pretty interesting. But you know, we'll find out later in the next part. Deku at the end of the day did get some rescue points and did save Uraraka at that point in time, and yeah, I think there will be a little bit of time for Deku to get some, and Uraraka to get some points, and I think I think at the end of the day they all pass, and Deku would end up being the top ranked student with, I think he got like 60 rescue points. So I think at the end of the day he'd get like he probably get like 145 points, which should be pretty interesting. But Bakugo would be at like 82 with like not very much rescue points at all. But yeah, that's going to where I'm gonna leave off, and then Deku gets his letter of acceptance, and then he's gonna start his journey at UA, and hopefully he sees Momo there. Yeah, so they can get to know each other, and because so they can probably get to know each other more at their journey on UA, and yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting. Because they probably at this point been texting back and forth, and Momo's pretty happy that he got in, and now Momo's like, oh my god, I hope I can, maybe we can go on dates, and I really like this guy, because and then she thinks, and maybe we might go, or maybe we could go to, and then she like blushes very in a red color, and yeah, if you know what that is, yeah. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave off in this part. So a couple now again, to reiterate my schedule for this week. I'm gonna do What If Ichigo got the Sharingan this Thursday, and What If Deku and I'm thinking of doing What If Deku would release on Saturday. So that should be pretty sweet. And that should be about it in terms of announcements for this week. If you didn't see the end of my video. Also, a quick PSA. I think I'm gonna start accepting what ifs on scripts on Google Docs. I've been getting a lot of DMs lately, and I don't want to get to a point where I'm too stressed out. So if you guys could put some of your what if suggestions on a Google Doc, so I don't get on, or either download or share it to me on via Discord DMs or whatever way you would prefer it. I do have an email address down below in my social media description. That'd be really cool. Also make sure you follow my social medias down below, especially join me Discord. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, and I guess that's about it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, share the video, and this has been your boy the Anime Sage, signing out. Peace, YEEHAW.